Welcome to the Made for Money podcast, where feminine wisdom meets financial power. I'm your host, Christine Walsh, financial strategist for women entrepreneurs, fractional CFO, speaker, and author of the best-selling book, Be the Queen of Your Money, and guide for women who are rewriting their money stories and unapologetically rising into their wealth. Let's do this. Hi, welcome back. It's Christine, and this is Made for Money, episode 13. Wow, we did it. I have been receiving so many amazing calls and emails and texts about people binging the episodes and listening to a whole bunch of them. I know there's only 13, but I'm glad for every single one of you that are listening and taking these in. And it's been really amazing for me to walk myself through this idea around Made for Money, and then I'm also walking you guys through it. Super grateful. So this is definitely designed to be a place for us to get to explore how money can be a conduit to building a greater life of prosperity and wealth, but also a portal into stepping into a new paradigm of working with money in the here and now and very practical. I know that all sounds exciting, and I also know, and will be the topic of this podcast, is that it requires a letting go, and it requires perhaps loss. And it's exactly where I want to start the podcast today. So today I am getting into grief and money. And money, no matter how you slice it and dice it, will always be a math game. Will always be addition. There'll always be subtraction, multiplication, division. And often when we are adding in concepts around money, or we're wanting to increase money or increase revenue, we also need to step into something to subtract. There's the universal law, right? So we want to, as we're thinking about adding things in, and I say that loosely, like adding in meaning setting goals, setting intentions, setting financial dreams, and kicking them off this year. As I'm recording this episode in the beginning of 2026. I also want to invite us all to consider what to let go of, what to subtract. And when we think about subtracting, sometimes it's hard, right? It's hard to let go of things. And I've been in a process of letting go, and the emotional wave of grief is real around that. And so whether we're losing a person, a loved one, a human, a furry friend, a home, a place, right? A thing, or it is where there's money being lost, whether that's through an investment decision or through how we feel when we go to the grocery store and the money doesn't go as far, or clients have dwindled off, or whatever. Right now, whatever it is, there is a collective grief going on. Stability is shaken. Economic news is all over the place. And so when we are feeling that, there is an aspect of grief that we are working with. And it's something that I wanted to talk about today. And when that's happening, we often look for something grounding too, consciously or unconsciously. And a lot of us may look to money. And if that's not increasing, if the bank account's not increasing, and that's also going down, all the emotions can show up, right? Shock, anger, frustration, overwhelm. To say anger, because that's a big one. The maybe even trying to fix it, and we're just our consciousness is wanting to, at the level that we are working with, wanting to make sense of that all. So if you've been feeling all the things in 2026 this year, I know we're only in February, you're not alone. If income doesn't feel like it's coming in, or it's not going as far, you're not alone. It's been hard, and it's been hard here too. And that's why I know I wanted to talk about this topic of grief and money, because money losses, and I'll generally say, like, that concept of maybe decreasing income, having to spend more than what's coming in, the clients not coming in as fast, or just feel like a collective loss of our humanity, maybe even. But this concept around loss, around grief and money, is a form of grief that no one talks about. And how we know that it is called grief is that the emotional ride that money can take us on if we're not tuned in. And it is just like grieving a loved one. I know money's not a loved one. I want to be very clear about that. But it is the emotional wave that comes along when we are in loss. So I just hit my 10-year business anniversary of my business incorporating, and yay, celebrating for sure. And I'm in the process of letting go. I'm in the process of redesigning the business model. I'm in the process of creating new things to support a different legacy within my world and within the collective. And, there is a grief to the letting go of a business that I'm proud of, that I'm attached to, that has given me lots of ways to celebrate and be in the moment of, wow, like I did this. There's something here, there's success here. So something new is emerging, and I have not wanted to let go of what has been. I'm definitely that monkey that won't let go of one vine to jump to the other. And I want to hold both at the same time and make sure that the second one is sturdy to hold me. And I look at my life, I've jumped and leapt many times. But as I get older, letting go of one vine and jumping to the next is more challenging. The stakes are higher. And in that struggle and observation that I'm seeing over the past months, I have felt sad. I have felt regret. I've been angry. I've been frustrated for sure. I've been apathetic and definitely activated, shocked when there's a loss or something comes out of nowhere and I don't know what to do with it. My whole face sort of rises up in red. I've definitely cried. And I've also been very thankful for what has been. And when I soften into it, there is some gratitude there for sure. But I've also gone into fix it mode and I've exhaled into surrender, like all the things, all in one day sometimes. And it's exhausting. Like on top of what's going on in the real world, it's been really damn hard. And as I look at it all in reflection over the past couple of weeks and preparing to speak on this topic today, I realize that grief shows it shows itself if you look at it with clear eyes and as an objective observer, how attached I have been to money. And you may be too. So they say that grief, like true grief, is the price we pay for love. And I do agree with that when we are grieving the loss of someone we care about, right? It's about care. It's like how much we cared about someone and feeling that loss, whether we were not in love with them but we had some connection to them. There it is, the cost of that journey. And with grief and money and letting go and it being hard, as it was showing me square in the face, I didn't realize how hard it would be until I became aware of something that shook me. And that was how attached I was to the money, how attached I was to business model, how attached I was to the brand, who I am, the identity, the part of me that thrives off of that. And so, yeah, hello, ego, I see you. And you can see the work is still happening. It's definitely an upward spiral, and we come circling around again in cycles. And as I softened into that, right, again, from that objective observer, like, wow, I'm really attached here. And it's no wonder I'm feeling this grief. It's in that acceptance that was the thing that was keeping me in struggle of letting go, right? The attachment. So when I recognized that, I was able to start letting go. And I'm saying that loosely because there's so many pieces to it. But really letting go of the way I think that things need to happen so that I can step into the way the way I want things to be. that other vine. And so the word there I would use is alignment. Alignment brings us quicker to our success than time. And grief is about time. It is about us understanding, riding that emotional wave. And so I do want to share, this grief work is no joke, and we're grieving all the time. And just for like a lot of us, like money, we haven't learned how to do grief. Just like maybe we haven't learned how to do money, and to let us walk in a way in those things that we may get attached to that serve us and pull us forward in our purpose. So as I reflect on it with bunches of gratitude and humility, it naturally has deepened me into more trust of what is next. And I can consider, I wrote in my notes that I can let go of the old vine. I'm still working on it, but I can trust that I can let go of the old vine, and I will reach the other vine. I will grab onto that because of the work that I've done to this point, and the work that you're doing, right? Your own personal development to this point has given you a lot of tools to trust yourself. And so I'll be the first to share. I do not know a lot about grief work. This episode of the podcast is not about grief and how to fix it or solve for grief. And that's not what I felt was needed. What I felt was needed was the opportunity to share that this is a thing and that it happens, and it happens on money, in the money journey, to our greater financial freedom. And that maybe letting go is exactly what is needed to move quicker towards that with which you want, with less struggle. So my question to you this week is, what needs to be let go of your money world, in your money world? What needs to be let go in how you think about finances, how you've been struggling? Maybe it is, I can't afford that, or I don't have the money. I mean, that's just putting you back in a state of perpetual motion of that's what's going to be, maybe it's around beliefs. So where can less attachment happen in your money world? Where can you soften into so that you can break free into the next level of prosperity? What vine do you need to let go of? And look to the other vine to jump to. And in that recognition, I welcome you to be in sadness, to be angry, to be in surrender, to try and fix it, to be apathetic, right? To give up, to really go through that ride and to feel it all so that you can see grief and you can honor it in its infinite wisdom, pointing you to something different. It's a deeper level of your understanding of yourself. And in what we talk about here, a deeper level of understanding how you work with money. And at the end of the day, we're all still monkeys. Maybe that's part of it. We're in this world and there is loss happening on so many levels. And we are a reflector of our society. And here's an opportunity to kind of turn inwards to find out the level of our own collective loss, whether that is through money or that's through our life, and recognizing it for its infinite wisdom in pointing us for what we really, really care about. And if you're here listening, you care about your financial well-being. And I think that that's poignant. So what can you let go of this week when it comes to your money? And what is the next vine? And where is grief coming up in your life? Again, it could be a loved one. And it also could be like a loss of a thing or a place and something you really cared about, and honoring that. All right. Bye for now. We'll see you next week. Thank you.